Up, we have the Summit Board of County Commissioners, District 2. We have Tamara Pogue, the incumbent, and Bob Cottrell. So I'd like to start off with a 2-minute opening statement from both of you to explain to voters who you are and what your platform is. Bob, I'll start with you.
Okay. Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm Bob Cottrell. My wife Dana and I came to Summit County in 1993 on a slide-on camper. But in minutes, we knew we wanted to be here and we were going to make it a place that we called home. We loved it in a minute, and we love it today, and we want to see it do as well as it can. I've raised both my children here, 2 young people who I think have turned out to be quite outstanding citizens. I've built businesses here. We are here long term. We've been here 32 years. This is not new for me. Unfortunately, it has become too difficult for other hardworking families to live, to work, and to raise families here. I am running for these families and the kitchen table issues that cause them to struggle. As I visit voters throughout the county, there's one thing that's the first thing on everybody's mind, and that's affordability of homes. Having said that, I'm running against Ms. Pogue. She's leading the charge for an excise tax to come to Summit County, the unincorporated parts. It has to go through the legislature yet, but I understand it will be sponsored. There's another person on the Board of County Commissioners, Mr. Mamula. He's thrilled that we're going to have a new trash pickup rate in the county when we adopt pay-as-you-throw. It's going to pretty much double trash hauling. We all know that we've had property taxes soar. We know now that school board proponents just tell us we've got this. Let me wrap up. This is such a short opening. But all of these bills, just those few, that short list, it's $300 a month in expenses for everybody who tries to live here, including tenants. Thank you.
We'll have more time to answer questions about housing. Appreciate it. And tomorrow we'll give you 2 minutes as well. If you could start your opening statement.
Thanks, Andrew, and good evening, everyone. I'm Tamara Pogue. I am one of the current county commissioners, and it has been my privilege to be your commissioner for the past 4 years. I'd like to begin just by thanking our sponsors. I think this forum and the debate of ideas is fundamental to our democracy, and appreciate that opportunity. Many of you know me. I am a single mom of 3 kids. 3 beautiful kids that all go to the Summit County School District. And so for me, affordability is not just something that I worry about for others, it is something my family struggles with every day. And that's why for the past 4 years, I have been a champion on affordable housing. I have fought to reduce the massive increase that folks saw for our property taxes. I have been a champion for behavioral health care, and I have worked really hard to to help our community catch up with an infrastructure that has fallen sadly behind. I think when folks think about my work and what I've accomplished, they'll also recognize, I hope, that we've done that together. As I look at all of the organizations that are sponsoring this debate tonight, there are some things that we have disagreed with over the years, but there are also many things that we have worked together on. And to me, that's what makes Summit County such an incredibly special place to live. We are a community that takes care of one another. We are a community that fights to do the right thing on healthcare, that fights to do the right thing on behavioral healthcare when no one else will fight that fight for us. If there is one thing that I have learned in my time as commissioner, all of these issues that we're going to talk about tonight are connected. You can't talk about property taxes without recognizing that 30-minute bus service is related to what the county collects in property taxes. These issues are complicated, but I am confident that working together, we can continue to build on the progress of the last 4 years and move Summit County into an even more prosperous future.
Thank you, Tamara. All right, and we'll start off with the 5 questions, and each question you'll have 1 minute to respond. I'm going to alternate, so Tamara, I'd like you to start with this question. So local workers continue to raise concerns about the access of housing in Summit County. What do you think the county should be doing to address these concerns?
All right, 60 seconds on housing, here we go. There is no one single thing that has solved Summit County's housing crisis, and there is no, that has caused Summit County's housing crisis, and there's no one single strategy that will solve it. As commissioner, I have advocated for a multi-pronged approach. That certainly involves continuing to develop housing, both in and outside of Summit County. So I am very proud that we brought the Justice Center to the market, that we brought Nellie's Neighborhood to market. I am incredibly proud that Lake Hill, which has taken far too long, is now out to RFP for a developer. And I am incredibly proud that Summit County will be the first county in the nation to develop affordable housing in conjunction with the U.S. Forest Service. No one else has done that yet. But building alone will not get us out of that. We have done all kinds of things to reduce burden on developers, to make it easier for private homeowners to build ADUs. We have converted 3 hotels into housing for our local workforce. There is a multitude of other strategies you can find on my website, and I'm happy to talk directly to all of you after.
Thank you, Tamara. And Bob, same question. Do you want me to repeat it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got to move quickly. One of the things that occurs to me, we need to liberalize ADUs. But when I say that, I mean take deed restrictions off them. I know we don't like to do that here in the current board because they're concerned that somebody might use some for short-term tenancy. That might happen, but we will get a lot more for long-term tenants. I'm philosophically opposed to government being a large landlord. Let's explore more inducements for private landlords, to put people in their home. Let's take out some of the impediments to private development of for sale homes with no deed restrictions on them. Deed restrictions bring other problems for people who buy them when they find they haven't appreciated very well. And they end up being blighted places, unfortunately. I also think we should consider small homes in retail and light industry areas.
Thank you, Bob. All right, and then Bob, we're going to start with you on this next question, just so we alternate back and forth. So an analysis by Summit Daily News found that property tax bills increased by about 30 to 40% on average in Summit County this year. Do you think the county should make any changes to lower property taxes? Why or why not?
I think that we should. I know that the Board of County Commissioners passed up that opportunity. I know subsequently that some of our incumbents may have did work when there were private citizen propositions on the ballot, and Governor Polis called them back to a special session. But nobody was moving very fast before that. I think we definitely need it for the homeowners, property owners here.
Thank you, Bob. And same question for you, Tamara. Do you want me to repeat it?
Nope, I'm good.
All right.
So there's no question that property taxes are part of the general affordability in our community. I was the only commissioner to support reducing Summit County's mill levy, and I was proud to do that. And as the speaker's designee on the Property Tax Commission at the state level, I have supported not one, but 2 reductions in our assessment rates in Colorado. That said, Summit County, Colorado has the lowest residential property tax rates in the nation, the lowest. And so while there is no question that the recent increase was far more than folks could bear, the reality is we have to find the right balance between what people pay in property taxes and the services that Summit County residents rely on. I would hate to see a Summit County where we didn't have access to transportation, where we couldn't afford to fix our roads, where we couldn't provide housing for our employees. And so as commissioner, my promise to all of you is that I will continue to advocate for the right balance between relief and the services that I know you all rely on as well.
Thank you, Tamara. And it looks like your mic went out.
Yep, it went.
We've got some more batteries.
Nope,
Sorry for the
batteries.
technical
Okay,
issues.
thank you.
Oh yeah, but if you guys would like to just alternate using that microphone, I'll get this one swapped out while you're answering. Okay. All right, so now I'd like to ask Tamara, you to answer this question first. Responses to our voter voices survey listed rising cost of living as the main concern heading toward the general election. What do you plan to do to help residents who are having trouble keeping up with their bills?
Thanks, Andrew. It's not just what I plan to do, it's what I've done. As Executive Director of the FERC, as the CEO of Peak Health Alliance, working closely with the Speaker to reduce the cost of health insurance by over 30% for Summit County residents, and as a Commissioner, voting to hold the line on property taxes, working to build more affordable housing. I've also been a strong advocate for behavioral health care to try and mitigate some of the stresses that come along with living in an affordable community. In addition, as Commissioner, I allocated funding towards an organization called Summit Economic Partnership, which is working to help diversify Summit County and bring up our wages. So not only do we have to hold costs in line, not only do we have to work on making our infrastructure more affordable, but we also have to work on making sure we have good, quality, high-paying jobs in Summit County. As Commissioner, I believe there's a three-pronged approach that I will continue to focus on if I'm elected to my second term.
Thank you, Tamara. Bob, same question? Yeah, I can repeat it. Responses to our Voter Voices survey listed rising cost of living as a main concern heading toward the general election. What do you plan to do to help residents who are having trouble keeping up with their bills?
I mean, some of that is larger than what we can do here, of course, but it's little things. I mean, this idea that our trash hauling is going to double, that is just one more thing for the consumer here who has already run to the limit of what they're capable of doing. There is a free market capitalist in me that believes, and Tamara just touched on this, there need to be incomes here. Some of our problem is not a crisis that people can't get a home here, but there are going to be employers that have to pay more of a living wage, more of a living salary. These are things that we don't have to legislate from a government body.
Okay, thank you, Bob. All right, and then Bob, you'll be answering this question next. Our Voter Voices survey also showed that people in our district are worried about democracy this election. I'd like to ask you, do you trust Colorado's election process, and in what ways would you help promote democracy and engagement from the public while in office?
There's no question that I trust our process here in Summit County. I know Taryn Power personally as well. We've got no problem. How would I promote it? By doing what I'm doing today. I'm just a regular citizen with some ideas. I can do this. I would encourage other people to do it. But I would encourage all of our citizens to stay. Be activists, even if that means something as simple as taking 5 of your friends to vote. Those are the small things we can do.
Thank you, Bob. And Tamara, same question, you want me to repeat it?
That's okay, thanks,
Okay.
Andrew. I certainly trust our election process, and I'm incredibly proud of our election process in Summit County. My commitment as a commissioner to democracy is pretty simple. It's to hear from folks whether I agree or disagree, and to work to craft together policy solutions that do the best we can do for our entire community, regardless of perspective. I had a unique experience a couple of weeks ago watching the debate. I was texting with some of my friends. One of them is an elected official on the Eastern Plains, incredibly conservative. Another is a more moderate Republican in the sort of middle of the state, and then a very, very progressive elected official from this area. And all of us were watching on different stations. The conservative was watching Fox, I was watching ABC, and we realized we were watching an incredibly different dialogue. There is no longer a common set of facts in our country. There is no longer dialogue between people who see the world differently. I find that dialogue valuable, and so my commitment as commissioner is to continue to have those conversations and listen to those conversations.
Thank you, Tamara. Then we have one more question. Tamara, I'll ask you to start this one off. What do you think the biggest issue is facing our district, and how do you plan to help solve it?
I mean, I think I've been fairly consistent this evening that the biggest issues are the affordability and sustainability of Summit County. We've talked a lot about affordability, but I have heard Bob talk now a little bit about doubling the cost of trash. You know, Breckenridge and Frisco went first with pay as you throw. They did not see any increases in trash collection. And the reason that we are implementing pay as you throw is because by diverting trash out of the landfill, we actually put off having to build a new landfill. And that will save the voters and the taxpayers of Summit County at least $80 million. That is a good, prudent policy decision that I will stand by. I stand by the work that Summit County has done to mitigate wildfire, because it is prevention. If we can prevent wildfire in our community, we can continue to make sure that folks can live here without having to do the rebuilding that others have done. Housing, I will certainly continue to make a priority if I'm reelected. Behavioral health care will continue to be a priority, and roads and our infrastructure will also be a priority for me.
Thank you, Tamara. And Bob, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
I do believe that it's the affordability of housing as well, just as Tamara did. So I would go back to those ideas. Let's have ADUs. Al Bacher talked about it earlier. There is that need, and we could do that. We could put people all over the county. I'm with Tamara on aiding and helping mental health. You know, for 15 years, my wife has contributed to the Summit Community Care Clinic, and one of the things that's a strong component of what they do is mental health. Every year, 2 or 3 times a year, we host people doing their rural residency in our home, which kind of brings me back to that trash thing. I see that it's going to go up 1.8 times to keep your 90-gallon. Here's the thing. I put out one stupid little bag most of the year. We take in people to help benefit Summit County. When I have people move in, I have a bigger trash bag. I'm going to have to pay for that now?
All right, thank you. And now we'll move on to the closing arguments. We have a bit of extra time, so if you guys would both like to have 3 minutes to close out your forum, I appreciate it. And Bob, we'll start with you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm running just to bring diverse new ideas to the Board of County Commissioners. It seems to me so often with our board and other town councils throughout the county and the Board of Ed, we have 3-0 decisions, 7-0 decisions, even on thorny and complex and nuanced issues that would really need some clear thinking, some bouncing around of ideas. But I think this is happening because we're becoming a one-party county, very much like we are mired in a one-party state. You know, I think the best government comes from if we have divergent views all coming together and we work it out. Currently, it seems like we have no real discussions with anybody of a different philosophy. You know, I have voters that I see in the county every day tell me that they feel that their opinions aren't heard by the Board of County Commissioners. In fact, they tell me worse. They tell me that it appears to them that in complex issues, the complex issues are often decided before the first public meeting ever takes place. I am running for these voters. There's another thing that I think is a little odd. For some reason, our current Board of County Commissioners loves to take bad ideas from Pitkin County or Routt County or South Lake Tahoe, and then we adopt them here. It leads me to think that we're moribund of our own ideas here. We're copying bad ideas that are not resolving the challenges that we face. So my question is, why don't we pass on some of these bad ideas from Aspen and try something original here, ideas that are suited to us? I mean, we don't want to be Aspen anyway. Why don't we lead with new ideas and try to attain some economic successes, some quality of life successes that become envied and emulated by everybody else in resort towns all over the country? I'm running to do this. We don't have that philosophy represented currently. I don't believe every challenge we face is a crisis. When we label something a crisis, then government has to run it, bureaucrats have to be part of how we're going to tell the public to live. We'll resolve our challenges through the energy and innovation of the good people of Summit County. The people who get up every day and go to work and build businesses, the small businesses. Small businesses, by the way, that are done by so many of our first generation and second generation Americans.
Stop.
We owe it to those people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob, and Tamara, you have 3 minutes as well.
Thanks, Bob. Results matter. That was a promise I made to everyone in Summit County when I got elected, and I have worked as hard as I can to deliver results. I've delivered results in housing, hundreds of new units, whether that's construction or conversion, or changing all of our accessory dwelling unit regulations and many of our building codes to make it easier for private developers to develop. I understand that the property tax increases were burdensome to many in our community, and I have worked to hold the line and to make as prudent financial decisions as I possibly can. Results matter. We went from one SMART team that could respond 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, to 4 SMART teams that could respond around the clock and have reduced the number of suicides in Summit County by 50%. Results matter. I am proud of the work that I have done with so many of you in this room, and I would be honored if I were granted 4 more years to continue much of the progress. There is a great deal to be done in Summit County. All of us know that our infrastructure is aging. Swan Mountain Road has to be repaved. Our water and sewer facilities are aging and are often at full capacity. If we want to continue to make progress on housing, we are going to have to tackle some of these incredibly difficult issues. My promise to all of you is that I will continue to hear you, I will continue to listen, and I will continue to work with many of you. Because if there is one thing I know about Summit County, it is that when we come together, when we work together, when we set aside our differences and commit to finding a common solution, we are the greatest county in the state. My name is Tamara Pogue. It has been my privilege to be your commissioner for the past 4 years, and I humbly ask for your support for 4 more.
Thank you, Tamara. And that's it for the County Board of Commissioners of District 2, so thank you both for coming out.